My name is Tony Mitra. I am both a food security activist, that means pushing chemical-free, pesticide-free food, and at the same time self-healing activist. I have been greatly benefited, me and my family, from a doctor in India, and I am promoting this gentleman, Dr. Pandey, to describe what he is now involved in doing. What he did for me individually or my family, now he is planning to do it for the larger community, not only in India, but to try to reach out to the Western people in the North America and in Europe. So that is what this video is about. And I will like to introduce, like to call in Dr. Pandey, the most important person who changed my life, so to speak.
Namaskar, sir, and thank you for calling me, sir. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the underlying way how we go about it. The world is one family. You must have noticed the recent G20 summit that we had. One world, one family.
Correct.
So we are one family, and we in Sanatan, that is my we call it Puja Paddhati. So whatever the Puja Paddhati, each and every Puja Paddhati is very respectable. In our Puja Paddhati, we call the world as one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So that is how, we are there to reach out to people. This started, I will introduce myself, sir. I am a radiologist pursuing nuclear medicine, and I am practicing. I'm a practicing radiologist and nuclear medicine expert. And during the pandemic times, we saw how the whole world was short of beds, short of oxygen. That shocked us. And that is where, the question came in mind, why do you become a doctor? So that question arose in mind, why do you want to become a doctor? Because there should be no disease in society. How many doctors are working for it? At least I can proudly say that I am working for it. I am working for the fact that there should be no disease in society. And whatever I have learned over time, not only in modern medicine, since I know Sanskrit, so I know I have studied Ayurveda out of my interest. I have studied Ayurveda, I have studied Siddha, I have studied Yoga, I have studied homeopathy, I have studied traditional Chinese medicine, Japanese medicine, acupressure, acupuncture, marm therapy, and of course, allopathy. So my overview of any disease will be very different from anything that you have ever heard. Why? Because we have various ways of looking at one disease process and then coming out of it. I'll give you one example of how it is. Like, for example, there are 10,000 diseases known to mankind. 10,000. These are the only many diseases known to mankind. To be precise, 9,985, including the recent pandemic. All healing modalities work within this frame. Somebody says Ayurveda is better, somebody says allopathy is better, somebody says homeopathy is better. They are working on this frame, 9,985 diseases. But there are only two ways to get these diseases, only two ways. And we are blocking those two ways. That is why in any disease process, how we approach things will be very different from how the world looks at it. So I'll give you one example. There are only two ways of getting sick. Either the pathogen is a pathology generator. The short form is pathogen. The pathogen comes from outside, like the recent pandemic, or an inside cell becomes pathogenic, like cancer, like autoimmune disease, like blood pressure, like diabetes. So an inside cell has become pathogenic. So we have to kill the pathogen. This is my approach to a disease process. Like, for example, if a pathogen is coming from outside, we in Sanatan and in Ved and in Ayurveda is a part of Ved. This body is Brahma. Brahma means it knows everything. Everything. This is all powerful. There is an all powerful body. So, how do you feel if a pathogen attacks from outside? How will the body react? The body will cause fever. So, why was the fever caused? To kill the pathogen. And what did the world do? In any modality whatsoever, what did the world do? They reduced the fever. Are we helping the body or harming the body? Which is why I told you in the very beginning, my viewpoint will be very different from whatever you have heard up till now. So the idea is, if the body has raised temperature, do not lower the temperature. You're not going to die of temperature. And yes, you can be slightly uncomfortable for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, depending upon, but definitely not more than 12 hours. And we need to understand that if a pathogen has attacked, there is a war going on. I will give you an example. If somebody in Gaza feels that I have had a good lunch and I want to sleep and I don't want any disturbance, and if there is a war going on, he can't do that because there's a war going on. So we need to understand that there might be some discomfort, but the basic point is, once the war is over, I'll be free. So you have to wait and you have to rejuvenate your immune system to actually work much better than what it is working. So this is how, with small things, we saved so many people. 15,000 people we saved during the recent pandemic. And I'm here to tell you, so this was slightly bigger in introduction than what it should be, but I just wanted to emphasize on this point. Yes, sir.
Please tell the people your qualification. That means how many, whether you're MD or PhD or doctorate, or give us this background for the listeners.
Sir, I have done my MBBS, that is a graduation in India as far as modern medicine is concerned. Then I've done my MD, and then I've done PhD. I've done my 2 PhDs. One PhD I'm pursuing. One PhD I've done in yoga and naturopathy. So yoga and naturopathy is the degree where I've done a PhD, and the other PhD is I'm doing in radio diagnosis, which is about to complete in 6 months. This is on the pineal gland, on the third eye, which is why our hospital in Dehradun is named the third eye.
Okay, go ahead. Wonderful. So,
Ji sir. So this is the basis how we started delivering to the society, so that society at large should be disease free. Once you are disease free, once the society is disease free, it is not only the body that is disease free, it is the mind also that is disease free. And then you think constructive. Otherwise, the thought usually is destructive. Ji sir.
yeah. So, what are you now apart from your professional work as a cancer specialist, and what are you offering for the people who cannot come to India, cannot come to Dehradun, but are interested in this self-healing? That means doing without, whenever possible, whenever practical, doing without visiting a doctor. You are trying to kill your own profession. Tell us about this endeavor.
We are trying to empower people to actually, medical education is more important than medical treatment. To understand this better, If I may ask you, Tony sir, in the recent pandemic, people are very much bothered about health all over the world. And the first thing was oxygen was less all over the world. There was an oxygen problem. So, if I may ask you, sir, what do you breathe in and what do you breathe out? You will say we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. This is wrong learning. This
We
is
breathe
wrong
in air.
learning. That
We breathe in
we
air.
breathe in air. Yes. Air has got 20% oxygen, and oxygen has got combustible properties. It favors combustion. आग लगाता है.
Correct.
It actually helps the fire if it is there in undercurrent to rekindle. Oxygen does that. So this body knows exactly how much oxygen to be extracted from air and how much not to be extracted from air, because that's more important. What is not to be extracted is more important than what is to be extracted. This body knows. The most sophisticated device on planet Earth is the body. This is the most sophisticated device. So it knows exactly how much oxygen to be taken from air. So that was one example of how medical education is more important than medical treatment. Coming back to your relevant question, sir, what we are trying to offer, we are trying to make you your own doctor so that simple diseases you can get rid of at home. You might not require a medical professional to actually overcome the disease process. Let me take the example of diabetes. Diabetes is a worldwide disease, and people are on pills because of lack of understanding, or they feel it is for the professionals to understand. I want to make it very basic so that people understand it better. Number one, diabetes is not a blood sugar disease. I repeat, because people they might be jolted by this statement. I'll repeat it once again. Diabetes is not a blood sugar disease. This world works on cause and effect. The effect of diabetes is blood sugar rise. It is not the cause of diabetes. The whole world, where is it? It is focusing on blood sugar rise, blood sugar fall, blood sugar rise, blood sugar fall. This drug makes blood sugar rise, this drug makes blood sugar fall. So we take this drug and make the blood sugar normal. So we are focusing only on blood sugar. Whereas diabetes is, the effect of diabetes is blood sugar rise or fall. The reason is hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia nobody is focusing on. We are focusing on hyperinsulinemia, and that is why we are able to reverse diabetes in a very small amount of time, maybe 3 to 5 days. And you can do it at home. Which is why we thought it is important for this scientific thing to actually go to the people so that they understand things. How does hyperinsulinemia work? If you eat something, the pancreas releases insulin. This insulin, the primary work of the insulin is to take sugar from the blood and put it inside the cell. If each and every time insulin is getting released, because you are eating every 30 minutes, every 1 hour, every 2 hours, you are making a insulin spike. So the cell becomes weary of so much insulin. That is called insulin resistance. So insulin resistance is the basis of diabetes. So if we are not targeting insulin resistance, then we will not be able to cure diabetes. Then we will be able to manage diabetes. That is what is happening all over the world. So how we can go about it? We have exact things wherein you are not fasting, you are eating your stomach full, and still your blood sugar is coming back to normal. This is what we have to offer for people and to educate them as to how it can be done at home without any problem with the things available at home. You need not have drugs. Let me also add here that drugs are there only for management, whether it is homeopathic drugs, whether it is supplements, whether it is Ayurvedic drugs, whether it is whether it is allopathic drugs. So all drugs are there for managing a disease, not to cure a disease. We are talking about cure here. So we will be annealing the drug part. And if at all a drug is required, let food be your medicine rather than medicine being your medicine. So this can be done at home, which is what we are planning to do. We are planning to tell people how to take care of their diabetes and how to make blood sugar come back to normal and drugs to be stopped. So that once the blood sugar is normal, why do you require drugs?
Excellent, excellent, super excellent. What you are trying to do, and we will do the needful of trying to get you viewers, people outside of India who cannot visit you physically, or visit the hospital in Dehradun physically, can still benefit from this exposure. I don't think there is any other person who has made this offer quite this way.
Thank you, sir.